Hey, welcome back. Today I'm going to take you through a little foundation routine that's pretty versatile. It can be applied to a lot of different scenarios. It's not so sheer that it's your everyday run-of-the-mill makeup look, but it's also not so heavy that it's going to look cakey and obviously be super noticeable. It's just that perfect in-between look. I use it for events. I use it for my everyday makeup. It's just a very certain technique that I like to use. It does involve a lot of creams, obviously, but it is a nice little mix of high-end and drugstore. So I'm going to get started. For my foundation, pretty much no matter what scenario, no matter what event I'm going to be in, I do opt for a more light medium coverage foundation. That's simply because I am starting to notice a bit more texture in my skin. Right now I have a really bad eczema flare up that's going onto like my chin area, and thicker, more textured foundations are going to pick up on those types of areas on my skin. So I'm going to be using a tried and true favorite. This is what I used on my wedding day. It's the Makeup Forever Ultra HD. They've reformulated this and it's a bit more sheer than what it used to be, and I actually really prefer that. Now, if you want a good drugstore dupe for this, the Loreal Fresh Wear is a pretty similar formula. I think it may have a bit more coverage to it, but I'm skipping out on that one today because it does have fragrance in it, and I just had too much going on with my skin to, you know, be using the fragrance. So I'll bring you in a bit closer here. I have a blush brush actually from Mercier. I just like using something that is a bit more on the flimsy side. Obviously, I've talked about this in videos why I like to do this. It really allows me to layer the product and have control over my application. I really just don't like using stiff or flat top brushes because they really pack on a ton of product all at once. And I like to be able to just kind of like maneuver, you know, my foundation around. This is a great formula. I mean, normally I don't like reformulations. Like, I don't enjoy the new reformulated Makeup Forever Ultra HD Concealer, but I really like this foundation. This to me is just like your perfect versatile foundation. It's actually, I think, the reason I'm liking it so much. It's very reminiscent of Face and Body, but a little bit easier to apply. So I know there are several of you out there who just never could get the hang of Face and Body. Maybe give this a shot. Since I do like to opt for a lighter, light medium coverage foundation, generally what I'll do is I will bump the coverage level up with my concealer. And this really allows me to add coverage in the places that are needed and not so much all over the face, so we don't have a ton of layering going on. So I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear. This is a pretty good dupe for the Tarte Shape Tape. It might be just a tad bit more on the drying side. I mean, for me in general, Shape Tape is a bit drying. I'm mixing two colors, but overall I find that it has nice lasting power to it. So I've got a little bit on the back of my hand here. I've just mixed a darker and lighter color to kind of customize. And then I'm taking, this is actually a highlighter brush. I never use brushes for what they're actually intended for, but this is a cheek highlighting brush from Sigma, and I'm just going to take that concealer and really brighten up and conceal further along the under eye area. So this next product is something that I really haven't found a solid dupe for, and it's my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Contour Wand. It is just the most stunning and flattering contour shade, bronzing shade. You can use it for both. It's just a good neutral tone. The closest I found to it is the L'Oreal Shape Stick Foundation in the shade Tan. It's not really identical, but it's the closest that I've found at the drugstore so far. So what I like to do is take a bit of this on the back of my hand. And I mean, this is just a glorious product. If you have never really been able to get the hang of contouring or really sculpting the face, this is a great place to start because I always say you just can't mess this product up. It blends into the skin so seamlessly. I pretty much use this daily and for any type of special occasion. So since this is a bit on the neutral side and I do like to go in and add a bit of warmth to my skin, I'm going to take the Physicians Formula Sculpting Bronzer. Pretty good dupe for my beloved Milk Makeup bronzing stick. It is very close in color. The only thing is that obviously it's not as large, so you have to be a little bit more tedious when applying it. But I'm going to take that on a bit more of a flared out brush. This one's from Sephora collection. It is, what is this called? I think this is, yeah, it's just called the foundation brush. And what I do is I just lightly go over the top of the areas where I applied that Hollywood contour one. Just adds like a bit of that caramelly tone to the skin, a bit of warmth. Narrowing it down for blush, we all know I love a good Daniel Sandler watercolor. Those are like my ride or die, but I wanted to also just pop in the ColourPop blush sticks here. These are nice. I don't think they have the longevity like the Daniel Sandler ones have, but I only have 2 of them, so I know that sometimes things vary with shades. The one I'm using right now is called Mercy Me, and it is the faintest. I mean, I don't even know if this is gonna pick up on camera. It's literally the faintest blush color you ever did see. Fair skin gals out there that don't like to be extra blushy, this is the tone for you. To set, this is a very bougie powder, and it's actually a powder I've been using for years now, but it's so bougie that I reserve it for my own personal kit, as in my kit that I use to do makeup on other people for, because I would rather their skin look better than mine, if that makes sense. Like, you know, they're kind of like a representation of how I do makeup, and this powder is just so lightweight, airy, and smoothing, but it is, you know, it's a nice little bougie one, and it's the By Terry Hyaluronic Hydra Powder. Now, they just released these tinted ones that actually have color, and that is what I have been using to set my makeup with. I love a translucent powder that has just a hint of color to it, because it really just adds that ultra smooth effect with a touch. I mean, the slightest touch of coverage. So I'm using the fair shade. These do run pretty dark, so I would say if you're actually fair, I mean, if you are, you know, pretty light like MAC NW10, I would just go for the translucent one, because the fair shade to me is actually just more of an appropriate color for a light skin tone. So it's kind of got this buttery yellow hue to it, and yeah, it would be a little bit too dark for those of you who are super fair. So this is one of those powders that you can literally set your entire face with, and it doesn't look like powder. It doesn't look heavy. It's not noticeable on the skin. It is so incredibly invisible. Finally, I'm going to take a little sweep of my Mercier Matte Baked Radiance Highlighter. This is the original one. Little goes a long way with this guy. Same brush. I'm going to go over the tops of my cheeks with it. This is one of the powder highlighters that actually does kind of look wet when you use it, which is ironic because it's supposed to be like a matte powder, but it's just got this realistic glow to it, and I love it. This is pretty much it. I just went into the other room and I did my brows, and I just love this routine because it's fast. It's kind of like, once you get the hang of it, it's just layering really delicately, and it just gives you this nice soft ethereal finish. I'm looking at my skin in the mirror right now, and I love this routine. I'm gonna do something really quick and fun with my eyes. So I've been dying to play with this lavender tone right here, mainly these 2 shades in this Nabla palette. It's called Soul Blooming, and then I want to layer this Caviar veil over the top because it's got this green blue duochrome shift. So I'm going to do that really quick. Okay, we've got this nice little lavender tone going on. Now I'm going to take the Laura Mercier. Oh, this is such a cool color. So this is the Caviar Veil, and it's in Opalescent. I'm going to take that on my finger and go over the top of my eyelid. All right, so that's pretty much it. I just wanted to give you a quick run through of all the kind of like similar products that I'll use for this technique, and just an updated foundation routine in general. But on a normal basis, whether it's for an event or for daily, this normally takes me no more than 10 minutes to do. So I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions for me, leave them down below, and I'll see y'all in my next video.